The Alaska-Bermuda Triangle, UFO mania, the Eerie Alaskan Pyramid investigated. Could this be a Stargate? Could it be the secret underground power source? An amazing mystery that has resurfaced is the 14,000-year-old pyramid unearthed in structure at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Would have been considered impossible by archaeologists. Similarly, to this day, some Egyptologists dispute the true age of the Sphinx in Cairo, in Egypt, which has been confirmed by geologists. There are many mysteries about Göbekli Tepe. One of them, the most significant, is the fact that its creators expended even more effort to bury it than they did to build it. Remarkably, there is a similar pyramid, and it was unearthed near Mount McKinley in Alaska. When we listen to the eerie cloak and dagger story that emerges as an interviewer of the U.S. Army counterintelligence agent who has a remarkable reason for believing it, he tells of its brief public announcement on a radio program and the years-long cover-up that has haunted him for the rest of his life. The Stargate of Alaska's Dark Pyramid. The secret underground power source west of Mount McKinley is a power generator. It can generate enough power for the whole North Slope, all of Alaska, and the whole country of Canada. It identified as being much larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. This is according to former military intelligence analyst Douglas A. Mustler. He had contacted investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe concerning what he knew about this. So is there an ancient dark pyramid in Alaska? Farewell Airport could have been a forward staging area to bring in equipment and supplies by helicopters to the square that you mentioned. This is what airline pilot and retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel said. The pilot told my dad the Alaska site was every bit as hush-hush as the Manhattan Project. The pilot also told him that it was not a nuclear device. It was not made by man. Nobody is supposed to know this place even exists. This thing is some kind of power generator, and it's thousands of years old. It's made out of some kind of stone, like a pyramid. They don't know where it came from, who made it, or how it works, but it can generate enough power to power the whole North Slope of Alaska and probably the whole country of Canada, said Bruce L. Pearson of New Jersey. In my ongoing efforts to understand the alleged underground and ancient dark pyramid of Alaska could be true, Earthflies hired Alaskan aerial photographer Frank Flavin to fly in a helicopter on September 26, 2012, over the green square latitude-longitude discovered in Google Earth by a retired Navy captain and described in earlier Earthflies report that include the alleged underground pyramid structure west of Mount McKinley has provoked a lot of email since my original Earthflies and Coast to Coast radio interview with Doug Mushler, retired U.S. Army counterintelligence warrant officer, with information about an underground pyramid that was posted on July 26, 2012. This is updates parts 1 to 3 on Earthflies. On July 27, 2012, I received more email information about a dark pyramid underground in Alaska, west of Mount McKinley, from a 46-year-old adopted son of the retired Western Electric engineer who allegedly worked between 1959, the year Alaska became a state, and 1961 on a powerful electrical system emanating from a very large underground pyramid of unknown origin in Alaska. And we have to see update Real X-Files Part 1 of Earthflies. That latitude-longitude I wanted to investigate about 50 miles southwest of Mount McKinley is Google Earth latitude-longitude 63 degrees, 17 minutes, 51 seconds north. I'll leave the coordinates here for you. The elevation there is 1,150 feet. The helicopter image below was taken from 3,000 feet altitude, but does not show a green square. The site is more like a ragged-edged circular area about the size of a football field, in which the black spruce trees do not grow thickly as the spruce do around the site. The marked path might be more related to animal traffic than historic cleaning up terraforming, but there are more questions in the rest of this Earthflies report. The nearest flowing water is Fish River, and about 5 miles away towards Mount McKinley is the unusually named High Power Creek. An Alaskan geologist found in his 1998 edition of Alaska Place Names Dictionary by Scarp Exploration Inc. this listing for the High Power Creek name reported by USGS in 1958. This is what it says. High Power Creek, stream, head is in Mount McKinley National Park, flows northwest, then southwest 58 miles to Swift Fork Kuskokwim River, 55 miles northeast of Medfra, Kuskokwim Lowland, 68 degrees 25 minutes north. This is the 1964 map 89. Variant names are Black Creek, High Power Creek, Slow Fork, Kuskokwim River, Slow Fork, Swift Fork, Kuskokwim River. Local name reported by USGS in 1958. I asked the retired Navy captain why the darker green square he discovered in Google Earth wasn't from 3,000 feet from the helicopter on September 26, 2012. The Navy captain emailed on September 27, 2012 and said, Linda, seasonal variation of flora. We don't know when Google Earth image was taken with respect to month or year. From the image in Google Earth, the reason the square stands out is because there is color differentiation between the 4 sides of the square and the surrounding flora. The area in general has 2 shades of green, one darker green which outlines the square, and several other abstract shapes in the same general vicinity, and a lighter greenish yellowish tan color that seems to define the areas adjacent to the numerous creeks and streams in the surrounding area. This color differentiation serves to outline both the abstract green, dark green shapes as well as the square anomaly. However, since we have no idea of the nature of the flora in the Google Earth map, we don't know how it may vary in color with the season, in which sunlight duration and intensity, temperature and water flow in the creeks changes. Therefore, it may well be that the color differentiation that we see is not there when the flora all turns to a dry brown, say, as winter approaches. The elevation of the area around the square anomaly was very flat. The slopes of the sides were very small percentage of the total length, with changes in the elevation in the order of 10 to 15 feet over 1,500 foot square. It's also worth noting that while we tried to study the anomalous square site in Google Earth, we are frustrated by out-of-focus blurring below a certain altitude, while other surrounding areas are clearly in focus down to tree sizes. The same focus problem occurs at High Power Creek. No low-altitude images are in focus. Is this selective blurring deliberate? Further, I learned that in 1998, the Pacific Air Force's PACAF initiated Operation Clean Sweep, in which abandoned White Alice and Dew Line stations in Alaska were remediated and the land restored to its previous state. Could the surface land above the alleged park pyramid have been cleaned up as well? This was Linda Moulton Howe, Earthflies, report of the 30th of November of 2012. Meantime, people are still disappearing in this part of the Alaska-Bermuda Triangles. People and planes are vanishing in the Alaska Triangle. This is an article of January 5th, 2016. Cryptozoologist Ken Gerhard told C2C about Alaska's unsettling number of missing persons and cases and strange instances of plane disappearances in the region known as the Alaska Triangle. It was a new History Channel program, Missing in Alaska. Gerhard marveled that an astonishing 53,000 people have gone missing in the state since 1988. The troubled average of 500 to a few thousand people disappearing each year is made all the more remarkable by the fact that Alaska only has a population of around 600,000 people to begin with. That's about 4 in every 1,000 people that go missing without a trace. Although there are a number of possible natural explanations for why some people may disappear in Alaska, such as the state's vast wilderness and dangerous animals, Gerhard suggests that there may also be a supernatural element at work behind these disappearances. He says, Alaska does boast a number of fabulous legends that relate to a manner of really strange and somewhat menacing creatures. He notes that the state also has a rich history of UFO events as well. And he connects this to what is called the Alaska-Bermuda Triangle. Alaska Triangle. Gerhard says it's a large swath of land that ranges all the way from the very north parts of the state all the way down to Juneau. It is an actual triangle. He says it is within the triangle area that most of these disappearances have occurred, very similar to the Bermuda Triangle in that respect. The Alaska Triangle appears to have claimed a number of aircraft as well. To that end, he shares a story of a case from 1950 when a military craft with 44 people aboard went missing, completely vanished. The plane was being searched for at least 39 days and involved hundreds of aircraft and personnel. To this day, they still have not found a trace of this pretty sizable aircraft. Gerhard acknowledged that one theory behind these strange disappearances could be that there is an energy vortexes which either release geomagnetic energy or serve as wormholes to other dimensions. The phenomena of people disappearing in Alaska is too widespread that a tourist actually went missing while Gerhard was in Juneau filming these series. This is unbelievable, but yet true. It's an amazing proposition, he said, that so many people up there vanish without a trace and are never found. I'll leave a link below for you for this. It's also on Coast to Coast AM. Investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe concerning what he knew about this. So, is there an ancient dark pyramid in Alaska? Farewell Airport could have been a forward staging area to bring in equipment and supplies by helicopters to the square that you mentioned. This is what airline pilot and retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel said. The pilot for the rest of his life. The Stargate of Alaska's Dark Pyramid. The secret underground power source in west of Mount McKinley is a power generator. It can generate enough power for the whole North Slope, all of Alaska, and the whole country of Canada. It identified as being much larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. This is according to former military intelligence analyst Douglas A. Mustler. He had contacted but did to build it. Remarkably, there is a similar pyramid, and it was unearthed near Mount McKinley in Alaska. When we listen to the eerie cloak and dagger story that emerges as an interviewer of the U.S. Army counterintelligence agent who has a remarkable reason for believing it, he tells of its brief public announcement on a radio program and the years-long cover-up that has haunted him at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey would have been considered impossible by archaeologists. Similarly, to this day, some Egyptologists dispute the true age of the Sphinx in Cairo, in Egypt, which has been confirmed by geologists. There are many mysteries about Göbekli Tepe. One of them, The most significant is the fact that its creators expended even more effort to bury it than they. The Alaska-Bermuda Triangle, UFO mania, the Eerie Alaskan Pyramid investigated. Could this be a Stargate? Could it be the secret underground power source? An amazing mystery that has resurfaced is the 14,000-year-old pyramid unearthed in structure